The Galactic Council chamber was in complete chaos. Representatives from 100 different worlds shouted over each other, their voices mixing into a wall of noise. Some delegates had multiple mouths, others communicated through color changes, and a few used translator devices that struggled to keep up with the panic. Ambassador Kate Morrison walked through the crowd with steady steps. She was one of only 3 humans in the massive dome-shaped room. Her dark blue uniform stood out among the colorful alien clothing and natural scales, feathers and fur of the other species. The holographic display in the center of the chamber showed something terrible. A fleet of ships that looked like a mix between machines and living creatures filled the screen. These were the Devourers, and they had already destroyed 3 entire star systems. Kate reached the speaking platform and cleared her throat. The sound was quiet, but somehow it cut through all the noise. The shouting stopped. Every eye, sensor, and visual organ turned toward her. "The human delegation has been watching the situation," Kate said. Her voice was calm and clear. "We understand that the Devourers have defeated every fleet sent against them." Supreme Counselor Vexnash moved forward on his 8 legs. His purple skin had turned almost white with fear. "Ambassador Morrison, your people have been part of our community for less than 100 years. The Devourers have technology beyond anything we've seen. What can Earth possibly do?" Kate looked directly at the Supreme Counselor. "We're sending 1 ship." The silence in the chamber became even deeper. Then it exploded into confusion again. "1 ship?" shouted Ambassador Kretok of the warrior clans. His forearms waved in disbelief. "My people sent 200 warships. They lasted 6 hours. The Zentari sent their entire defensive fleet," added another voice. 500 ships all destroyed in a single day." Kate waited for the noise to die down again. "Our ship is different," she said simply. "Different how?" demanded Vexnash. "What makes you think 1 human ship can succeed where thousands have failed?" "Admiral Jack Harper is commanding the USS Sovereign," Kate replied. "He'll arrive in the Kelnar system in 4 hours." The hologram shifted to show the Kelnar system. 3 inhabited planets orbited a yellow star. The Devourer fleet was already there, surrounding the outer planet like hungry wolves around prey. 4 hours? Squeaked Ambassador Pip from the mouse-like Skitari. "The Kelnar system will be gone by then." "No," Kate said. "The Devourers always take their time. They enjoy the fear. They'll wait until they have an audience." "You speak as if you know them," observed Scholar Zetha, whose crystalline body chimed softly as she moved. "We know predators," Kate answered. "Earth has plenty of them." The council chamber's lights dimmed as someone activated a direct feed from the Kelnar system. The Devourer ships came into sharp focus. Each one was different, as if grown rather than built. Metal mixed with what looked like flesh. Tentacles writhed from their hulls. Some ships had giant mouth-like openings that seemed to breathe in space itself. "Look at them," whispered someone in horror. "They're alive. They consume everything," Vexnash explained, his voice shaking. "Planets, ships, space stations. They digest technology and biological matter alike, growing stronger with each meal." "Have they made demands?" Kate asked. "They don't negotiate," said Commander Voss of the Deltan Republic. "They broadcast one message: submit to consumption. Resistance prolongs suffering." Kate nodded. "Typical." "Typical?" Vexnash's tentacles writhed in agitation. "Ambassador, do you not understand? These creatures have technology that defies our understanding. They adapt to every weapon, learn from every tactic. They are unstoppable." "Nothing is unstoppable," Kate said quietly. "You just need the right tools." A younger alien, barely more than a child by his species standards, spoke up from the back. "What makes human ships special? Why do you think one will make a difference?" Kate smiled slightly. "Let me tell you something about humans that most of the galaxy doesn't understand. You all evolved on paradise worlds, gentle gardens where life was easy, where cooperation came naturally. Earth wasn't like that." She gestured to the hologram, which now showed images of Earth. "Our world tried to kill us every day. Predators hunted us. Diseases ravaged our populations. Natural disasters destroyed our homes. We had to fight for every scrap of food, every safe place to sleep. We know this, Vexnash said impatiently. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world. But how does that help us now? Because, Kate continued, when you grow up fighting for survival, you get very good at it. And when you finally reach the stars and find other beings who need protecting, she paused, looking around the chamber. You bring your weapons with you. But what weapons? Pressed Ambassador Takari of the Luminary. Our sensors can detect no special armaments on your ships. Your technology seems primitive compared to ours. Seems, Kate repeated. That's the key word. The hologram suddenly flashed with an alert. A new ship had entered the Kelnar system. The image zoomed in to show a vessel unlike anything in the Galactic Council's databases. The USS Sovereign was long and sleek, painted in dark colors that seemed to absorb light. Its hull was smooth, with no visible weapons ports or engine exhausts. It looked almost peaceful, like a creature gliding through deep water. That's your warship? Asked Kretok. It has no weapons arrays, no shield generators, no... Everything you need to know about human warfare, Kate interrupted, can be summed up in one of our sayings. Speak softly and carry a big stick. I don't understand, said Vexnash. You will, Kate promised. In about 4 hours you'll understand everything. The Devourer fleet had noticed the new arrival. Several of their ships turned toward the Sovereign like sharks sensing blood in the water. On the Council screens, data showed the alien fleet beginning to move. They're going to destroy your ship, warned Commander Voss. You should order them to retreat while they still can. Kate shook her head. Admiral Harper doesn't retreat. He's never lost a battle. There's always a first time, someone muttered. Not today, Kate said with certainty. The chamber fell quiet as everyone watched, the lone human ship accelerate toward 1,000 enemies. The odds seemed impossible. The situation looked hopeless. But something in Ambassador Morrison's calm confidence made them wonder. Maybe, just maybe, the humans knew something the rest of the galaxy didn't. As the Sovereign drew closer to the Devourer fleet, Kate activated her communicator. Admiral Harper, the Council is watching. A deep voice responded through the chamber's speakers. Good. Let them see what happens when someone threatens our friends. The Devourers began to surround the human ship, moving in a complex pattern that had trapped countless vessels before. They broadcast their standard message. Submit to consumption. Resistance prolongs suffering. Admiral Harper's response was, brief, you first. And with those words, everything changed. Admiral Jack Harper stood on the bridge of the USS Sovereign, his hands clasped behind his back. The view screen showed the Devourer fleet spreading out like a net, trying to trap his ship. He had seen this pattern before in the battle recordings. Status. Report, Jack ordered. Commander Lisa Park stepped forward, her blonde hair tied back in a tight bun. All systems operating at peak efficiency, Admiral. The Devourers are moving into their standard entrapment formation. Let them, Jack said. How long until they complete their maneuver? 3 minutes, sir. Jack nodded. Perfect. That gives us time to say hello properly. The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency. Lieutenant Danny Chen worked at the sensor station, his fingers dancing over holographic controls. Ensign Maria Rodriguez monitored communications, while Chief Engineer Bill Watson kept an eye on the power systems. In the Galactic Council chamber, hundreds of beings watched their screens with growing dread. The human ship looked tiny compared to the massive Devourer vessels surrounding it. They're doomed, whispered Ambassador Kretok. Why don't they run? Kate Morrison stood perfectly still, her eyes fixed on the display. Because running isn't in their orders. What are their orders? Asked Vexnash. Win. On the Sovereign's bridge, Lisa reported. Admiral, we're picking up their standard transmission. The speakers crackled with an alien voice that sounded like metal scraping against metal. Submit to consumption. Resistance prolongs suffering. Jack smiled coldly. Open a channel. Channel open, sir. This is Admiral Jack Harper of the Earthship Sovereign. You have attacked peaceful worlds. You have destroyed innocent lives. This ends now. The Devourer response came quickly. You are one. We are Legion. You will be consumed. Actually, Jack said, I think you'll find we're quite hard to digest. Lisa, activate the hull transformation sequence. Aye, sir. Hull transformation in progress. The smooth surface of the Sovereign began to change. Panels slid aside with mechanical precision. Hidden compartments opened. What had appeared to be a simple weaponless ship revealed itself to be something entirely different. In the council chamber, gasps of surprise echoed off the walls. What are those? Demanded Scholar Zetha, her crystalline body flashing with confusion. I've never seen weapons like that, admitted Commander Voss. The Sovereign's true form emerged. Strange devices extended from its hull, their purposes unknown. To the watching aliens, some looked like traditional weapons, but most defied classification. Admiral, Danny Chen reported. The Devourers are completing their entrapment formation. They'll have us surrounded in 30 seconds. Excellent, Jack replied. All hands, battle stations. Prepare to demonstrate why humans are the apex predators of our world. The Devourer ships closed in, their biomechanical hulls pulsing with anticipation. They had used this tactic thousands of times. No ship had ever escaped once caught in their web. Enemy ships at 5,000 kilometers and closing, Lisa announced. Arm all weapon systems, Jack ordered. Target the command vessels first. Sir, Danny interrupted. I'm detecting confusion in their hive mind communications. They don't recognize our weapons. They will, Jack said grimly. Fire when ready. Lisa's fingers moved across her console. Quantum destabilizers online. Singularity projectors charged. Particle wave disruptors ready. All weapons hot. Enemy at 3,000 kilometers. Jack watched the tactical display. The Devourers moved with perfect coordination, like a single organism with 1,000 parts. They were used to prey that panicked, that made mistakes. They had never hunted humans before. Fire, Jack commanded. The space around the Sovereign erupted, in a display of physics-defying destruction. Beams of twisted light shot from the human ship, striking Devourer vessels with impossible precision. Where the beams hit, reality itself seemed to break down. In the council chamber, aliens pressed against their screens in disbelief. That's not possible, breathed a Zentari scientist. Those weapons violate the known laws of physics, Kate allowed, herself a small smile. We wrote some new laws. A Devourer ship tried to dodge, but the human weapons tracked it perfectly. The beam struck its center mass and the entire vessel began to collapse in on itself, crushed by its own gravity. Direct hit, Lisa reported. Target destroyed, no debris. Continue firing, Jack ordered. Show them what happens when you corner a human. More ships fell to the Sovereign's impossible weapons. Some were torn apart at the molecular level. Others vanished into miniature black holes. A few simply ceased to exist, erased from reality, as if they had never been. The Devourer's formation began to break apart. For the first time in their recorded history, they showed confusion. Admiral, Danny called out, their hive mind is fracturing. They're trying to adapt, but they can't understand our weapons. Of course they can't, Jack replied. They've never encountered predators like us. In the council chamber, Vexanash turned to Kate. How? How is this possible? Those weapons shouldn't exist. Humans have a saying, Kate replied. Necessity is the mother of invention. When your entire evolution is about surviving things that want to kill you, you get very creative about killing them first. Back on the Sovereign, the battle continued. The Devourers tried to swarm the ship, but its point defense systems created a sphere of absolute destruction around it. Any enemy that came within a kilometer simply vanished. They're attempting to retreat, Lisa announced. Negative, Jack said, firmly. Activate the interdiction field. Interdiction field activated. The space around the battle suddenly shimmered. The fleeing Devourer ships slammed into an invisible barrier, their faster-than-light drives failing. What did you do? Gasped Ambassador Takari in the council chamber. We locked the door, Kate explained. No one leaves until this is finished. The trapped devourers turned back toward the Sovereign, desperation clear in their movements. They fired their own weapons, beams of energy and projectiles that had destroyed countless ships before. The attacks never reached the human vessel. They bent around it, deflected by fields that shouldn't exist. Their weapons are based on conventional physics, Jack explained to his crew. Ours are not. Lisa, prepare the reality warper. Reality warper charging. Target? The center of their formation. Let's show them what human science can really do. The Sovereign's largest weapon extended from its bow. Energy built up around it, making space itself ripple. In the council chamber, sensors went wild. Impossible energy readings, shouted a Deltan scientist. That weapon is generating power equivalent to a small star. The weapon fired. A wave of distortion spread from the Sovereign, washing over the Devourer fleet. Where it passed, the enemy ships twisted and warped, their very existence becoming unstable. 50 Devourer vessels simply vanished. Another 100 were torn apart by forces that defied description. Half their fleet is gone, Danny reported. The survivors are broadcasting terror across all frequencies. For the first time in galactic history, the Devourers knew fear. The remaining Devourer ships regrouped, their formation now defensive rather than aggressive. 500 vessels formed a wall between the Sovereign and the inhabited planets of the Kelnar system. Admiral Jack Harper studied the tactical display. They're learning, he observed. They've never had to defend before. Should we press the attack? Lisa asked. Not yet. Let them think they have a chance. Danny, what are you picking up from their communications? Danny Chen adjusted his sensors. Panic, sir. They're calling for reinforcements from 3 other systems and... Admiral, they're trying to analyze our weapons. Good luck with that, muttered Chief Engineer Bill Watson from his station. They'd need about 500 years of physics lessons first. In the Galactic Council chamber, the mood had shifted from despair to stunned disbelief. Representatives, who had been preparing evacuation plans, now pressed closer to their screens. Half the Devourer fleet destroyed in minutes. Vexnash said slowly, "This is unprecedented." Kate Morrison remained calm, though inside she felt deep satisfaction. "The battle isn't over, Supreme Counselor." "But how?" demanded the Zentari scientist. "Those weapons violate everything we know about physics." "Your physics," Kate corrected. "Not ours." Back on the Sovereign, Jack received a priority message from Earth Command. He read it quickly, then smiled. "Good news?" Lisa asked. "The best. Earth has authorized full demonstration of our capabilities, no more holding back." Lisa's eyes widened. "Everything, sir?" "Everything." The Devourers chose that moment to attack. 500 ships fired simultaneously, launching a barrage of energy weapons, missiles, and biological projectiles. The space between the fleets filled with death. "Incoming fire," Danny reported calmly. "Impact in 5 seconds. Activate the probability shield," Jack ordered. A faint shimmer surrounded the Sovereign. The massive barrage reached the ship and passed through it as if it wasn't there. In the council chamber, jaws dropped open, those species that had jaws anyway. "What just happened?" squeaked Ambassador Pip. "Did they phase out of reality?" "Not exactly," Kate said. "We just changed the probability of being hit to 0. That's not possible," protested Scholar Zetha. "You keep using that word," Kate replied. "I don't think it means what you think it means." The Devourers fired again, this time concentrating all their firepower on a single point. The energy was enough to crack a small moon. It had no effect. "Admiral," Lisa said, "I think it's time we showed them our true capabilities." Jack nodded. "Agreed. All weapons free. Target all enemy vessels. Fire at will." What followed would be remembered as the moment the galaxy learned to fear humanity. The Sovereign's weapon systems fully activated. Beams of impossible energy lanced out in all directions. Where they struck, Devourer ships didn't just explode. They unraveled at the quantum level. Miniature black holes bloomed among the enemy formation. Temporal distortion fields aged some ships 1,000,000 years in seconds, leaving only dust. Others were caught in causality loops, destroying themselves before they could fire. 40% of enemy fleet eliminated, Danny reported. They're trying to adapt their shields. Won't help, Bill Watson called out. Our weapons operate on principles they haven't even discovered yet. The Devourers made one last desperate attempt. 100 ships linked together, combining their power into a single massive vessel. It grew larger and larger, absorbing the biomechanical mass of its companions. Interesting, Jack commented. They're trying to match us with size. Admiral, Lisa warned, energy readings from that combined ship are off the scale. Perfect. Deploy the dimensional cutter. A new weapon extended from the Sovereign's hull. It looked deceptively simple, just a long, thin rod of silvery metal. The Super Devourer fired everything it had. The blast was powerful enough to destroy a planet. The Sovereign's dimensional cutter activated. Reality split along a perfectly straight line. The massive energy blast, the Super Devourer, and a dozen ships behind it were cleanly sliced in half at the subatomic level. Both halves drifted apart, perfectly bisected. How? Whispered someone in the council chamber. We cut through the dimensions, Kate explained. Like cutting paper with scissors, except the paper is reality itself. The remaining Devourers broke completely. They scattered in all directions, abandoning any pretense of coordination. They're running, Danny announced. Chase them down, Jack ordered. Every last one. The Sovereign accelerated to impossible speeds, its engines operating on principles that allowed it to sidestep the laws of physics. It appeared next to fleeing Devourer ships instantaneously, destroying them before they could react. Admiral, Maria Rodriguez called from communications. We're receiving a transmission from the Devourers. They're asking for mercy. The bridge fell silent. Jack stood very still for a long moment. Put them through. The alien voice that came through the speakers was different now. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something that sounded like terror. Sovereign vessel, we yield. We submit. Please, no more. Jack's voice was cold as space itself. You consumed 3-star systems, billions of lives. Did they ask for mercy? We did not understand. We thought we were the apex predators. You were wrong. Humanity spent 50,000 years becoming the dominant species on a death world. We didn't do it by showing mercy to things that tried to eat us. Please, we will leave this galaxy. We will never return. Jack considered this. Lisa, how many Devourers remain? 73 vessels, sir. Very well, Jack decided. Here are my terms. You will transmit all your technical knowledge to us. You will provide the coordinates of any other Devourer fleets. Then you will leave this galaxy and never return. If we detect you within 5 billion light years of any inhabited world, we will hunt down your entire species. Am I clear? Crystal clear, Sovereign Vessel. We accept your terms. Over the next hour, the Devourers transmitted their entire database to the Sovereign. Then, true to their word, the surviving ships activated their long-range drives and vanished into the void between galaxies. In the council chamber, a strange silence fell. The greatest threat the galaxy had ever known had been defeated by a single human ship in less than a day. Bexnash finally spoke. Ambassador Morrison, what exactly are you? Kate smiled. We're humans. And now you know why Earth doesn't need a large fleet, quality over quantity. Will you share this technology with us? Asked Commander Voss hopefully. Some of it, Kate replied. The parts you can understand, the rest, well, you're not ready for that yet. And if another threat comes, wondered Scholar Zetha, then we'll deal with it, Kate said simply. That's what friends do. But everyone in the chamber was thinking the same thing. Thank the stars the humans are our friends. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with activity in the hours following the battle. Representatives hurried between meeting rooms, making calls to their home worlds, trying to process what they had witnessed. Admiral Jack Harper's image appeared on the main screen. He stood on the Sovereign's bridge looking as calm as if he had just finished a training exercise. Supreme Counselor Vexnash, Jack said formally. The Kelnar system is secure. We're beginning rescue operations for any survivors. From the destroyed worlds, Vexnash's tentacles moved nervously. Admiral Harper, the Council owes humanity a great debt. But we must ask, how many more ships like the Sovereign does Earth possess? Jack's slight smile gave nothing away. Enough. That's not an answer, pressed Commander Voss. It's all the answer you need. Kate Morrison interjected from her position in the chamber. What matters is that humanity stands ready to defend our allies. Ambassador Kretok stepped forward, his warrior pride clearly wounded. We must know how you developed such weapons. The warrior clans have pursued military technology for millennia. How did humans surpass us in mere decades? Kate considered her words carefully. Different evolutionary pressures create different solutions. You developed weapons to establish dominance. We developed weapons to survive. On the Sovereign, Lisa Park was coordinating with the rescued inhabitants of Kelnar Prime. Admiral, we've located significant survivors in underground shelters. The Devourers hadn't begun their consumption phase yet. Good. Deploy the medical teams. Bill, can we restore their planetary shields? Chief Engineer Bill Watson checked his displays. Give me 6 hours, sir. I'll have to recalibrate their entire grid to work with our power systems. Do it. In the council chamber, Scholar Zetha raised an important question. Ambassador Morrison, we've observed that human technology seems to operate outside known physical laws. How is this possible? Kate walked to the central hologram projector. Let me show you something. She activated a display showing 2 different star maps. This is how most species see the universe. 3 dimensions of space, 1 of time. Simple, linear, logical. The image shifted. This is how humans see it. The new display was incomprehensible to most of the aliens. Dimensions folded in on themselves. Time flowed in multiple directions. Space curved in impossible ways. We call it dimensional mathematics, Kate explained. Your species developed in stable regions of space-time. Earth sits at a cosmic crossroads where reality is flexible. You mean unstable, Zetha said. We mean opportunity, Kate corrected. Where you see chaos, we see potential. Back on the Sovereign, Danny Chen was analyzing the data from the Devourers. Admiral, you need to see this. What is it? The Devourers' database. They weren't from our galaxy originally, they came from somewhere else, and sir, they were running from something. Jack's expression hardened. Running from what? Unknown, sir. But whatever it was, it scared them enough to flee across the void between galaxies. This information reached the council chamber just as Ambassador Takari was asking another question. What happens now? Will humanity take control of galactic defense? Before Kate could answer, her communicator chimed. She listened to the message from the Sovereign, her face becoming serious. Council members, she announced. We've discovered why the Devourers came to our galaxy. They were refugees fleeing from something worse. The chamber fell silent. Worse than the Devourers? Vexnash asked weakly. We don't know yet, but Admiral Harper is already preparing contingency plans. On the Sovereign, Jack was issuing orders. Lisa, contact Earth Command. Request activation of the Deep Space Detection Network. If something else is coming, I want to know about it. Yes, sir. Should we inform the Council about our other assets? Jack considered this. Not yet. Let them adjust to what they've seen today first. In space around the Kelnar system, the Sovereign deployed a network of sensors. Each one was more advanced than anything the Galactic Council had ever created. Sensor, network online, Danny reported. We can now detect disturbances up to 50 light-years out. Good. Maintain yellow alert status. In the council chamber, representatives were debating humanity's role in galactic affairs. They must share their technology, insisted the Zentari delegate, for the good of all species. And if that technology falls into the wrong hands, Kate countered. Some weapons are too dangerous to share freely. You don't trust us, accused Kretok. We trust you, Kate said carefully. But trust must be earned over time. Humanity will provide shield technology and defensive systems to all member worlds. Offensive capabilities will remain under human control. That makes you the galaxy's police force, observed Scholar Zetha. No, Kate disagreed. It makes us the galaxy's guardians. There's a difference. A junior diplomat from the Yandari delegation spoke up. What if we choose not to accept human protection? Kate's response was gentle but firm. That's your choice. But remember what you saw today. The Devourers were just one threat. There may be others. On the Sovereign, repairs to the Kelnar system continued. Human engineers worked alongside local technicians installing new defensive systems. Admiral, Bill Watson reported. I'm integrating our shield generators with their power grid. They'll have protection equivalent to a human colony world. Excellent. What about early warning systems? Already in place, sir. If anything dangerous enters this system, we'll know immediately. The council session continued late into the night. Finally, Vexnash called for order. The council has reached a decision, he announced. We formally request a defensive alliance with Earth. In exchange for protection, we offer full access to our scientific databases and trade networks. Kate smiled. Earth accepts. Admiral Harper will coordinate with your military leaders to establish patrol routes and response protocols. As the session ended, Kate received a private message from Jack. Something interesting in the Devourer data. They mentioned the Silence. Apparently it's what they were running from. The Silence? A region of space where stars go dark and civilizations vanish without trace. It's expanding. Kate felt a chill. How long do we have? Unknown. But I've requested activation of Project Titan. The Council isn't ready to know about that. They will be, Jack said grimly, when the time comes. As representatives filed out of the chamber, many stopped to shake Kate's hand or offer their species equivalent of gratitude. The galaxy had changed in a single day, but Kate couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Humanity had revealed some of its strength, but not all. The real tests were still to come. And somewhere, in the dark between galaxies, something called the Silence was moving closer. 6 months passed after the Battle of Kelnar. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. Human patrol ships now moved through established routes, their presence alone enough to deter most threats. Admiral Jack Harper stood in the command center of Starbase Eden, humanity's first deep space installation outside the solar system. The massive view screen showed a map of the galaxy, with human patrol routes marked in blue. Status report, Jack ordered. Lisa Park, now promoted to captain, stepped forward. All sectors quiet, Admiral. The Krell raiders surrendered their entire fleet yesterday after our patrol ship appeared in their system. They didn't even try to fight? No, sir. They transmitted their surrender before we could hail them. Jack nodded. Word had spread quickly about what happened to the Devourers. Most aggressive species now chose diplomacy over confrontation when human ships arrived. On Earth, in a secure underground facility, scientists studied the Devourer database. Dr. Sarah Chen led the research team analyzing data about the mysterious Silence. This is troubling, she told her colleagues. According to these records, the Silence has consumed at least 12 galaxies. It doesn't destroy them. It makes them empty. No stars, no planets, no life. Just nothing. How long before it reaches us? Asked Dr. James Park. Based on its current speed, maybe 1,000 years, but it's accelerating. In the Galactic Council chambers, Kate Morrison attended another session. The atmosphere was very different now. Representatives who once shouted in panic now spoke with careful respect when addressing the human ambassador. Ambassador Morrison, Vexnash began, several member worlds have requested permanent human defense stations in their systems. How does Earth respond? Kate consulted her datapad. We can establish monitoring outposts in strategic locations. Full defense stations will take more time. We're still training crews for our expanded fleet. Expanded fleet? Asked Commander Voss. I thought you said one ship was enough. For threats like the Devourers, yes. But we're preparing for something bigger. The chamber grew quiet. You mean this Silence you've mentioned? Scholar Zetha inquired. Among other things. The universe is vast. and we've only begun to explore it. There may be other threats we haven't encountered yet. On the bridge of the USS Sovereign, now permanently stationed as the flagship of Earth's deep space fleet, Admiral Harper received an urgent message from the sensor network. "Admiral," Danny Chen reported, "we're detecting unusual readings from the Andromeda Galaxy." "What kind of readings?" "Sir, entire star systems are going dark. One after another, like someone's turning off lights." Jack's blood ran cold. "The silence?" "Unknown, sir, but it's moving much faster than the Devourer records indicated. Alert Earth Command, and prepare a message for the Council. They need to know about this." In the Council chamber, Kate was explaining Earth's new defense initiatives when her communicator chimed with an emergency signal. She read the message from Admiral Harper, her face growing serious. "Council members," she announced, interrupting a debate about trade agreements. "I've just received word from our deep space fleet. We've detected what may be the silence approaching from Andromeda." The chamber erupted in panic, reminding Kate of that day 6 months ago when the Devourers were the greatest threat. "How long do we have?" Vex Nash asked, his tentacles pale with fear. "Unknown. But it's moving faster than we expected. Our scientists estimate it could reach our galaxy within 50 years, not 1,000. 50 years? Squeaked Ambassador Pip. "That's not enough time to evacuate." "We're not evacuating," Kate said firmly. "We're going to fight." "Fight?" Kretok stood up, all forearms gesturing. "How do you fight something that makes stars disappear?" "We don't know yet. But humans have never run from a fight for survival. And this time, we're not fighting alone." She activated the chamber's main display, showing a new image. Dozens of ships under construction in Earth's orbital shipyards. These are the first vessels of the United Galactic Defense Force. Built with human technology, they'll be crewed by volunteers from all member species. If the silence wants our galaxy, it'll have to go through all of us. The mood in the chamber shifted. Fear turned to determination. "The Deltan Republic volunteers its best pilots," Commander Voss announced. "The warrior clans offer our strongest fighters," added Kretok. "The Zentari will provide our scientific expertise," declared their ambassador. One by one, every species in the chamber pledged their support. Back on the Sovereign, Admiral Harper assembled his senior staff. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're facing something unlike anything in our files. The Devourers were conquerors. This silence appears to be something else entirely. Maybe a natural phenomenon. Maybe an intelligence beyond our understanding." "What are our orders, sir?" Lisa asked. "We prepare. We study everything in the Devourer database. We build more ships. We train crews from every allied species. And we develop weapons that can fight the impossible." He paused, looking at each officer. 50 years ago, humanity was alone on Earth, thinking we were the only intelligence in the universe. Now we're the defenders of the galaxy. It's time to live up to that responsibility. Across the galaxy, preparations began. Shipyards worked around the clock. Scientists shared knowledge that had been kept secret for millennia. Former enemies trained side by side, and in the space between galaxies, the silence continued its inexorable advance. In her office on Earth, Kate Morrison drafted the speech she would give to the Galactic Council tomorrow. The last paragraph read, "We cannot know what challenges lie ahead. The silence may be unlike anything we have faced, but we know this: we are not alone. Together, we represent the combined will of 100 species who refuse to go quietly into the dark. Whatever comes, we will meet it united, and we will win." As she finished writing, her assistant brought her the latest reports from the shipyards. The first of the new fleet would be ready in 6 months. They would need every one of those 50 years to prepare. But for the first time in galactic history, there was hope. Not because the threat was small, but because the galaxy had learned to stand together. And at the front of that united force stood humanity, the species from a death world who had turned survival into an art form. The silence was coming. But it would find the galaxy ready and waiting. The real war was about to begin.